In our culture, pimps are made into heroes.
Yeah, it's gross.
You know, it's gross. They write rap songs about them, and these are great guys that are doing incredible things in the world. And I'll tell you a story that was very interesting that happened to me many years ago. I believe that every pimp should be caught, incarcerated. I mean, mostly they're just murderers. They're really killing people. They've turned people into living death. Should all be put in jail. Now, many years ago, there's also an element of life called forgiveness. And many years ago, I used to teach in Texas. I lived in Texas for 9 years, and I set up a program in a prison in Fort Worth where I would go in twice a week, and I had many students there, and it was kind of like a noir movie, the characters that I used to have in this meditation class. I mean, I had mafia people, I had bank robbers, I had swindlers. I mean, there was incredible characters that used to come. And this went on for, 5 years I did this. And on Sundays, I worked out an arrangement with the warden that I could take these people, these inmates, and bring them to my house. And every Sunday, I would have these people come out to the house. And one of the things that really blew me away is that in prison, people really have a lot of time on their hands, and they all spend their time lifting weights. And they just they're like this, every one of them. And I would teach this class in the prison, and at the end of the class, 20, 25 of these muscle-bound inmates, they were men and women, would get on a line and they would all come up and hug me and say, "Thank you." And it really blew me away. I mean, I was so touched by it that this meditation was transforming their lives. Now, we decided to build a house in our community up there in Denton, Texas. And I remember we were in the middle of doing this, and I walked out onto the yard. It was a Sunday, and I had all these inmates that came to my house. Sometimes the chaplain would come, but mostly we just took care of them. And I saw this guy, his name was Charlie. Charlie was a pimp. Okay, he was busted for having a string of brothels in Houston. I mean, he was franchising brothels, this guy. And Charlie was about 5'10", and he kind of looked like Sylvester Stallone. He was built like him. This guy was really a strong guy. And he was like a bull, you know? And I walked out into the yard, and there was Charlie with a carpenter's belt on. And I went up to him and I said, "Charlie, what are you doing?" And he said to me, "Stuart," he said, "I'm not a man of many words, and I don't talk a lot, but you have really changed my life." And before I was franchising brothels, I worked as a carpenter. And I would like to help you build your house, at least to spend 2 or 3 hours on a Sunday afternoon working to say thank you. Now, it blew me away. And you see, I'm not saying pimps shouldn't go to jail. They should, every one of them. And they should be put in jail for life, until something changes them in the prison. But what I'm saying is that forgiveness and love and really, teaching people how to transform themselves goes a very, very long way. And it can help even people doing, things as horrible as franchising brothels in Houston to become human beings. And somehow, if people treat them with enough forgiveness, they can change. Something in them can change. And the prison has a much deeper purpose than just incarcerating somebody and punishing them, but it can act as a way of rehabilitating people as well and turning them into human beings.